Welcome back, everybody, to Variant Verdict. My name is Joshua.
And I'm Sean.
And tonight, we are going to talk about Comic-Con at home.
From home.
Exactly. So, if you guys followed us at all, and you've seen our previous videos, you know we covered last year. We did a top 5.
Yes, like top 5 best moments of Comic-Con, which, I mean, this time around, I don't think we're going to be doing a top 5, because, I mean, am I wrong in saying that this Comic-Con may have felt a little flat?
I agree. I think part of Comic-Con and the magic of it is being, toe-to-toe with other huge fans of the same thing, being excited in the crowd of like-minded individuals, and absorbing all the cool new stuff that comes out that, in the next year.
Yeah.
And just being excited. Not that this didn't have any exciting moments, it just didn't feel as exciting because you didn't have that live aspect to it.
Kind of shows you how important the live crowd is when it comes to a convention and announcements and things. So.
Oh, yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
So this year we're just going to go over some of our favorite takeaways, some of the little things we just caught about this year, and that's it. Give you a little bit of information about Comic-Con 2020 from home, which was done for obvious reasons with the certain public health crisis that they had to address, and for everyone's safety. So let's just get right into it. What's the first highlight you want to talk about?
I'd say, What We Do in the Shadows Season 2. The announcement of that's going to be coming out. That's actually something that I am excited for. I think, in a way, you're much more knowledgeable of the series than I am.
Yeah, this is the show. If you guys aren't familiar, it's on FX, I think. It's the show based on the same titled film from Taika Waititi, What We Do in Shadows. It's a mockumentary-style film with vampires living in New York City, adapting to life in America as vampires. It's as quirky and crazy as it sounds, but it is tremendously funny, well done, and I really, really, really enjoy the hell out of this show. I've been telling Sean to check it out.
I know the movie, not so much the show. So
yes, yeah. So I've been trying to tell him to check it out, and I made a couple notes. First, let me just start off by saying that the panel was pretty cool that they did. It was 33 minutes or so of all the guys from the show. Haley Joel Osment
did a lot.
Who else?
Meeting.
Harvey.
It's the guy who plays Guillermo.
Harvey Gillian.
Thank you.
Matt Berry, Kevin Novak. Like, these are all people I love anyways. Like, I think they're going to have a phenomenal comedy career out once the show is over, because this is great stuff. But some of the notes I took, I wanted to go over. These are going to be some of the highlights, it seems like, for the upcoming season. The fact that the season ended with them almost dying, if you guys remember, Guillermo killing all the other vampires around him is definitely going to have a huge ripple effect, it seems like, on their standing in the vampire community going on in the next season. I think some of the old faces that people might have forgotten about on the show, if you've watched season 2 and said, boy, that's like a loose end that will never be tied up, that will probably rear its head in this next season. A couple things like that. If you guys know the show, you know that they do leave breadcrumbs for stuff that could be picked up or elaborated on in the future. People who are involved behind the scenes have confirmed they are not letting anyone down. They are going to address some of those things.
That's cool.
So that seems really cool. And apparently they're going to have a hellhound in this season that protects the house.
I'm down for that.
So that sounded kind of cool. There was a couple things I thought that were interesting. Like I said, I wanted to specifically address. But that was it. And if you guys saw last season, and they had Beanie Feldstein from Booksmart, Mark Hamill from Star Wars. I mean,
you know who Mark Hamill is.
And then you had Wesley Snipes, and oh my God, last season was so good, filled with so many tongue-in-cheek, goofy cameos.
Yeah,
that was our first pick.
I kind of want to see what cameos may be coming around this year too. So we'll definitely check it out.
Yep, and so I'm super excited. If you guys haven't watched, What We Do in Shadows is phenomenal.
Yeah.
What was the second one that
I would probably
noticed?
say one of the ones that did stand out to me even a little bit, even though I wasn't super excited, but it felt like a standout, was Hellstrom.
Yeah, you know what? Hellstrom's a character I'm mildly familiar with from my days of collecting comics. What I can say is the trailer's really short. There wasn't a lot of meat to chew on.
No.
And I guess I got the vibe of everything they've done. Hulu seems to attract a very specific subset of Marvel content.
Yes.
It's mid-budget,
It's
usually a little darker, but more family friendly at the same time.
It's
Kind of like
B-level
Cloak
Marvel.
and Dagger.
If you think about it, it's B-level Marvel. Like,
Yeah,
it's
like
not bad.
The Runaways.
It's just not.
You guys remember that show?
Yeah.
Kind of like The Runaways, Cloak and Dagger. It's very much right there in the wheelhouse. I will say the trailer looked kind of cool.
Yeah.
Graphically, it's on par with like most of the bigger budget stuff. But again, it's like 1 minute and 36 seconds. It
doesn't give you
much.
much.
From it.
You just know that it's the still basic principle story about like Satan it's his children, right? Like he has 2 children, and that's what he's commanding to do things on Earth. So it's like the basic story, the spine of the story is still there, but we just don't know what else is really happening. So
exactly. So for anyone who said Marvel really didn't have much going on, they didn't. They did have the Hellstrom trailer. So that's what they brought this year.
there is one more Marvel thing, but we'll bring that up in a little bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll bring that up.
Not quite MCU, but it's in the Marvel.
Something we've all been waiting for.
Yes.
And I would say the next thing that we may want to go ahead and take a quick look on is Truth Seekers. Now, this was something that I love the Simon Pegg, Nick Frost movies, and even the ones that aren't directed by
Edgar Wright.
So, yeah, like, just see them back together again. I don't care what they're doing. I'm happy. And I like Nick Frost, and he really does feel like it's the main... He's going to be the main character.
The last time these 2 actors, worked together in a film where it wasn't directed by Edgar Wright, they pulled it off still.
Paul, I like Paul.
Have very obvious chemistry. I'm excited to see. I'm glad Amazon picked it up. You know, I have Amazon Prime. It'll be cool.
Yeah, and it's a series
to actually watch this and whatnot.
Yeah, it's not like this is just a one-off movie. They're actually in a series together.
Question though, will it be a series that needs to be renewed like for multiple seasons, or is it like a mini series? Do you think? Kind of in the vein of that one show, Good Omens. Remember that show?
It's hard to say. I'm gonna say they're gonna go with season 1 and take it from there. Like if it's that popular, they'll probably come back and do it
obviously
again.
We don't know a whole ton about this, but I think the fact that it brings back 2 of my favorite comedic stars, pairs them back into another film together, felt like it was worthy of a takeaway of this
absolutely.
And which is a show not filled with a lot of moments.
No.
So that's why this felt like a good takeaway.
No, it definitely was. And yeah, again, very emphasis on not a lot of moments.
Exactly. So the next one I wanted to bring up was a film called Kilroy Was Here.
Yes.
So let's just say that if you know anything about the Comic-Con history, you know Kevin Smith does an evening with Kevin Smith every Comic-Con. It's been well over a decade of him doing this. It's become tradition in Hall H that you go and you watch Kevin Smith talk. Hour and a half, 2 hours. The guy loves to talk. He's the biggest talker in the planet.
Yep.
Didn't you have a couple moments you even thought were kind of funny?
Oh, yeah, like how he initially points out that he's like, he blames this on all the people in Hall H complaining that they didn't want to wait in line and do everything like that. So it's like,
yeah, like
what they wanted.
He's like, you got your way.
He's like, you got your wish, and you were able to go ahead and stay at home, sit there and do it. But was it worth it?
Yeah. And he took some time. I think everyone who's been kind of plugged in with what's going on with Kevin Smith at all knows that he is hard at work behind the scenes as the showrunner also of the upcoming Masters of the Universe television show on Netflix.
Can't wait for
unfortunately, nothing was shown.
No.
But he has said that he's already seen early animatics from his design team working on the project. And he says it's amazing. It's going to blow everyone's mind. I mean, Kevin could be blowing smoke up our asses because he's Kevin Smith and he's working on it. But I really do have... We've discussed this in a previous video, our Masters of the Universe variant verdict. He's got a phenomenal cast behind him.
A phenomenal cast.
Oh, phenomenal.
I love the
who's who
cast.
of like the biggest voice actors in the game.
Hell yeah.
You know? So, I do want to mention, he did give us a status update. The show looks like it's shaping up to be like a really amazing thing. So much talent behind it, but the one thing he did kind of drop, which was a little, if you've been following Kevin Smith, he's been working off and on periodically about this movie. He mentions on his podcast and interviews called Kilroy Was Here.
Now, I believe you said something along the lines of this took like 4 years or something, because
this was done off and on for a period of about 3 or 4 years at the Ringling College in Florida. He would go there, work with students. And since this film is, I think it's like an anthology film.
Yeah.
It has like 4 or 5 stories. I think every time he was going to the Ringling College to work with students on this film, which you'll kind of see, it's got a little bit of a small budget vibe.
Which is
right?
okay.
No, that's fine. But it looks like it could have been a student project.
Which kind
of makes it charming. I don't know. Like,
it ultimately was.
Yeah, exactly. It's got a little bit of a charming feel to it. Like, it looks like it's going to be like a smaller scale thriller horror.
Like a creep show, Tales from the Dark Side. It's going to be like short mini stories or what is it? Scary stories to say in the dark, like that kind of a thing.
Scary stories to tell.
And like one story's got Chris Jericho, and then you have his daughter, like what feels
Harley
like it's
Quinn
another.
Smith's in it. Chris Jericho's in it. Jason Mewes, obviously.
Yeah.
Who else? Ralph Garman.
Yep. Well, which I mean,
plug my Ralph Garman interview on VariantNEWSSOURCE.com. Who else? I mean, there was a few in there, to be honest.
No, there was like a lot of people that I didn't recognize, and then obviously everyone we just mentioned. So it's got a mixed cast for sure.
And he's slapping the old Smodcast Pictures label on this, so this is like straight pure Kevin Smith. Doesn't seem like he's just worked on it a little bit or was a producer.
No,
this is his movie on his production pictures,
and he did it, I believe, to help students and everything like that. Hit that kind of level of production.
And guys, I like Chris Jericho. Let's give this man more roles.
Hell yeah!
He's just a joy to watch on the big screen.
Especially
on the screen,
even
when he's wrestling.
Even short-lived, it was short-lived. But even him and MacGruber, a fucking highlight.
I'm saying, like, I enjoy it. Give Chris Jericho more screen time.
Yes.
So how do we wrap it up? What's our fifth and final moment, man?
You know what our fifth and final moment is.
It's that movie that I thought would never come out,
and it's never gonna. We still don't have a release date, do we?
I don't think so. But I think everything is kind of like it's up in the air with a certain public health crisis going on.
We got a new trailer and the first, 2 minutes of New Mutants.
Yeah, it was kind of like they gave us the opening.
Yeah.
And then they cut off the opening at a certain point to kind of bleed into a compilation, if you will, of various tidbits and clips of the
trailer. Yeah, it jumps from the beginning into a new trailer.
But it was kind of cool.
No, it was pretty cool. I do like the fact that...
Wait, did we say the name of this movie?
Yeah, New Mutants.
New Mutants. Okay, I wasn't sure we even said it. But yes.
I yelled it. No, but when it comes to this, I do love the fact that this is a horror aspect movie. This isn't something that doesn't... It's not like your general X-Men or MCU movie.
It looks like it cribs some of its influence from Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors.
Yeah,
they have this kind of
mental
claustrophobic
asylum
inside of one place location, mental asylum, obviously.
If it's a mental asylum,
it has that vibe.
No, well, here's the thing: is that there's a lot. Just that first 2 minutes alone, I
have
have a lot
Elm
of
Street
theories.
Even has that part where the guys going through the wall. They reuse that same shot.
Oh no, well that's part 1, but part 3.
But I'm saying that's from the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise.
No, it is absolutely, and it's actually an amazing story about how Wes Craven made that. But anyway, now when it comes to this, I've been excited for it. I've been wanting it, but it's one of those things where it just felt like I got to stop caring about it because it's never going to come out. And to this day, I guess I'm thinking this is going to go Disney Plus.
Guys, this is kind of like the swan song of Fox's run with
X-Men
those characters.
Yeah, no, it is in a way, and it's also completely different from all the other things. There's no X-Men, or is there X-Men in this? There's something about the opening of the movie that I actually have to say it gave me a thought, and I could be totally wrong, but should I say it here? Should I say my little theory about it? All right.
I want to hear your damn thoughts, Sean.
All right, so
tell the audience.
The opening of this movie is a guy, all of a sudden very big. It's like a girl's getting woken up because there's a battle or an attack or something is going on. They jump out of their trailer, and there's a blizzard going on. Then you see cars getting thrown and all this. Is the blizzard Storm? Is the car getting thrown Colossus?
It's very vague, isn't it?
Is this an X-Men battle currently going on?
Yeah, it's like the father brings the child out, who's clearly, I think, Maisie Williams when she gets older.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
No. Maisie Williams is a totally different character. This is another character.
Oh, another main character girl.
But what it is her father hides her in a tree. He goes, I have to help them.
And he gets
whoever he's referring
to or something.
Or
right?
not only that, and he also you see he was almost stabbed.
Oh, maybe Wolverine.
Now, maybe Wolverine.
Okay.
So here's the other thing. We could be getting a different perspective of mutants seeing X-Men in a dark light. So, and I could be completely wrong. But I'd love that.
What's really unique about New Mutants is that Deadpool was obviously a Fox released product, But Deadpool, and this is also the last Fox released product, New Mutants. Deadpool started in New Mutants. He literally made his appearance in New Mutants 87. And it's like, I feel like if there's another franchise that throw Deadpool in, ironically, it's the last Fox movie other than Deadpool.
Maybe that was an intention.
I wonder, there's some obvious setup there, it feels like. I wonder if that was the original intention because they were both Fox owned and not MCU.
And not only that, think about this. And this is something that it could have been the case that this might have been a plan but then got squashed. What was in Deadpool 2? X-Force.
Yeah.
What happens to X-Force?
X-Force was the New Mutants. Rob Liefeld took over the run. And then
that was going to be my point.
The X-Force.
All of X-Force dies in Deadpool 2. And then you have
New Mutants one iteration of X-Force.
True.
X-Force was
that wasn't X-Force. But what I'm saying is the team he made, then called it X-Force, that whole team died. And then you have the New Mutants.
Yeah.
That New Mutants become X-Force. What if it was going to be a thing where, like, Deadpool, another Deadpool or New Mutants, where Deadpool's their leader?
Yeah.
But I think it all got squashed with everything.
It would be
happened.
cool if I really feel like Fox wouldn't be dumb enough to let go of the idea of doing further exploring the team of X-Force. I think what they did in the movie was obviously they just killed that iteration, like Shatterstar, kind of like the least memorable fucking guy from X-Force.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I think they knew that those characters were disposable as that version of X-Force. You need Cable, Domino, Sunspot, Warpath. Like, those characters are the real X-Force.
No,
and obviously Deadpool. So I do think New Mutants could have potential that if Fox no longer owns it, they're not going to produce the next film, and they want to keep that in the MCU, with the caveat that this film doesn't have too many connections to strictly Fox, and they keep it kind of plain, so they could do that in the future without it ruining the chances.
Possibly.
Of being, like, MCU brought in, if you will. Like Venom almost, like how people want that to be like in the MCU. I hope that New Mutants works just well enough where they can kind of bring it in. And then maybe if Deadpool finally gets an MCU movie, not Fox, that they could bring those characters together and like find a way to work them out.
That would be cool, but Disney's not going to pull the trigger on like.
I feel like this will. I hate to be so blunt, guys, but I feel like this could be another case of Fox's Fantastic Four, where it'll come out. The trailer was great for Fantastic Four, if you guys remember. It was a really good trailer. It was cut so well. Then the movie came out, and it gave you everything from the trailer, but that's the power of editing.
Yeah.
And I do feel like there's a chance that this movie could go that way. I'm not 100% sold that we're looking at like a gold standard genre superhero film, but I do think it's got Charlie Heaton in it, Maisie Williams.
Young Maisie Williams.
Yeah, because they filmed this movie like freaking 4 or 5 years ago or 5 years ago. It's nuts.
Well, think about it. We heard about it first about 5 years ago. They filmed that shit way earlier, so it's like 6 years ago.
But maybe whatever he's doing is right. I know CBS All Access is coming out with the show that Josh Boone, who directed New Mutants, he's going to be doing The Stand by Stephen King over on CBS All Access, which is, as you know, like an epic, huge scale horror fucking tale from Stephen King. So maybe they've seen this film already, and executives, and he got offered the job because he did pull it off, and I hope that's the case because I want to like this movie.
Yeah, no, which it also does look like the horror aspect in it looks actually really good, and it's a nice twist for these movies. There doesn't have to be like some major villain, make it whatever the fuck that's in that trailer. So
it's true.
Now, also, here's another theory: is that actually a mental institution? Is that a training facility?
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder.
You don't know. There's much questions I have about this, but
I got a lot of vibes of that movie Glass too. So I'm wondering. I really do wonder what this will be like. I think the fact that they're not scrapping it, throwing it right to VOD or.
No, they can't. I heard something along the lines that, like, per contractual agreement, they're not allowed to put it on VOD before it hits theaters.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that was a
it's
thing.
Also, probably got a fairly large budget, and I think it would hurt. But see, it's hard to say that because even Bill and Ted's going to VOD. And that had a pretty big budget, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So that's it. I think that looks pretty interesting. Just other couple tiny things. We got a little bit more information. I think it's season 5 or 6 of Rick and Morty.
Yep.
Apparently they're going to be introducing his big arch nemesis to Morty in the next season. They show some black and white animatics from the early stuff that's been worked on for this next season. Looks good. Any other things that you want to bring up as some honorable mentions?
Not much. I mean, there's really, outside of everything we talked about, there's
it's cool that Keanu sat with Kevin Smith with Bill Winters.
Well, you had your Constantine reunion, and then you also had the Bill and Ted. Like, Keanu Reeves was all over this. That's
yeah, it's cool seeing Keanu Reeves, what's the guy? Winters?
Alex Winters.
Alex Winters, Kevin Smith, of all people, huge fan. He apparently saw Bill and Ted, loved it. So that's cool. That's it, though, guys. That was Comic-Con, in my opinion, 2020. There's a couple other small things, but, this year did not explode like that. This wasn't one of those years.
No, actually, I would probably say this may be the weakest... Maybe the weakest Comic-Con ever.
Yeah, at least in recent memory, for sure.
But it's also because it's not like that's because Comic-Con's failing. It's Comic-Con tried doing the best that they could, and it just didn't take. And I think if they advertised it a little harder and they made it a thing that this was going to happen, like, I think a lot more views, things like that, because I think even the attendance in the streaming was really low. Like,
and what's weird was that I just didn't feel like there was a whole lot of comic book related stuff. Like, you can't go to San Diego Comic-Con. There's never gonna be a year that doesn't have Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, or just other huge names in the industry, like, doing their comic book related stuff. I didn't get a whole lot of that this year. There was a couple ones. I know Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, they did their thing with the Batman heavy metal series that they're working on. But overall, it was very less comic themed. A lot of TV shows. I didn't even mention The Boys Season 2 on Amazon. There was a few more, but that's it. I mean, I didn't have much else to say about it. I appreciate you guys tuning into our Comic-Con at Home, from home panel. My name is Josh. We're about to sign off, but before you do, what should they do, guys?
Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Exactly.
And leave a comment down below. But, yeah, so that will go ahead and wrap up today. So go ahead and check us out next time when we're back with our
Exactly, and if you guys would be so kind, why don't you tell us what we missed? I'm sure there's stuff that was on this year's Comic-Con maybe we didn't catch.
Yeah, I didn't watch everything.
We'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
We would love to hear it. Leave your comment down below. Have a good night, everybody.